The Dallas housing market is seeing longer days on the market, motivated sellers, and massive price reductions. Sellers are worried. And what about buyers? I mean, let's say you're moving to Dallas and you have to have a place to live. Rents are high in Dallas, but you don't want to be underwater on a mortgage either. And of course, none of us can ignore the whole 7% interest rate issue either, right? Well, there are a lot of questions and a lot to be concerned about in Dallas right now. And in this video, I'm here to help answer some of those questions. Well, hello, this is Wendy Pinnell, and according to Moody's Analytics, Texans have a rough road ahead with some major price declines coming online. Or do they? According to Wall Street's Fitch ratings, the Dallas housing market isn't overheated at all. And they said Dallas-Fort Worth is one of just 3 metro areas with sustainable home prices. All right, so which one is right and where exactly is the Dallas market headed? Well, that's what we're going to get into today, because if you're moving to a new state, that is hard enough, my friend. You need to be able to feel confident about understanding the housing market, right? All right, well, let's jump right into Moody's Analytics' most recent housing forecast. But first, a little backstory, okay? In August, Moody's Analytics forecast home prices to fall between like 0 to 5%, okay? Not a real big deal. Then 1 month later, in September, Moody's Analytics downgraded its outlook to a 5 to 10% national decline. Okay, but then in the beginning of October, it once again slashed that forecast. Okay, heading forward, Moody's Analytics now expects a peak to trough U.S. home price decline of 10%. Okay, so what is leading to these constant downgrades? Well, it is, and yet it isn't, mortgage interest rates, okay? Scratch your head over that one. 7% isn't an unheard of interest rate, all right? There are plenty of times we've had 7% interest rates and even really much higher, okay? But here, this is where the problem is, okay? And I like the way Fortune magazine puts it, okay? They said the problem is these rates coupled with frothy home prices. Here's an example. The week interest rates hit 7%, home purchase applications fell 13%, okay? That right there speaks volumes. Okay, so really, you could make a very good argument that this isn't about the interest rates, okay? Because like I said, we've seen 7% before, all right? But what this really is about, okay? Affordability. Okay, it's that affordability crunch that's causing Moody's to continually downgrade their prediction. All right, so what is their prediction this month? I want to summarize that for you, okay? Are you ready? Moody's Analytics now expects a peak to trough U.S. home price decline of 10% if there's no recession. However, this number could jump up to 15 to 20% across the nation if there is a recession. Now, this is where the other shoe drops. You ready? In significantly overvalued housing markets, prices are expected to fall to between 25 to 30%. Okay, so that brings me to the obvious next question. I hear you already asking, is Dallas considered overvalued? Well, according to Moody's, that answer is a big fat yes, okay? Moody's considers the Dallas housing market to be 52% overvalued. So unfortunately, of the 210 bubbly housing markets that could crash 25 to 30%, Dallas is one of them. Well, what the heck? How did we get here, Dallas? Okay. Well, Dallas housing values have really gone up at a pretty consistent rate since 2012, okay? In fact, if you look back, even at the famed housing bubble of the early 2000s, Dallas didn't even have a housing crash, okay? Back when home values were collapsing across the nation, Dallas home values just kind of puttered along about the same, all right? The Dallas Federal Reserve puts it this way. They said the Texas housing market didn't experience explosive price growth during the mid-2000s boom and subsequent collapse. Texas's price growth really was more aligned with fundamentals, including employment, income, new home construction, and population growth. Okay, so then as the nation recovered, from the housing collapse, you can see Dallas home values kind of begin to go up like at a consistent and fairly predictable clip, right? You would see like this typical cycle where values will go a little higher during the peak summer season, and then they kind of drop off, just drop off a little bit in the winter, and on and on it went, right? Pretty consistently until right about 2021, okay? All of a sudden, we see this massive leap in home value, right? Now, why is that? Well, it's because the Federal Reserve created an artificial foundation for home values. They provided stimulus money, they provided artificially low interest rates, okay? A 2.65% interest rate, okay, it's unheard of historically, and yet that's exactly what the Fed did. So what do we see? Well, from 2021 to around mid-2022, okay, the Dallas area average sales price went from $344,000 to $490,000. Okay, the Dallas Federal Reserve said that house prices in Texas metropolitan areas recorded historic year-over-year increases in 2021. Fort Worth, San Antonio, and Dallas home prices jumped 21%. Okay, so our home values really going to drop up to 30%, okay? Has a Dallas housing bubble driven up prices that are now on their way down? Well, I'll tell you what, the Dallas Federal Reserve, they commented on this, okay? They said bubbles arise when there's a persistent misalignment of home prices with economic conditions and housing market fundamentals, which doesn't appear to be the case in the pandemic recovery. Really? Who agrees with that? Do you agree with that? Do we agree with that? Moody's certainly doesn't, okay? Moody's valuation forecasts are based precisely on housing market fundamentals, and they say Dallas is 52% overvalued. Okay, but then you have Fitch Ratings throwing their opinion, okay? This is their opinion according to the Dallas Morning News, right? They said the North Texas housing market is hot, but not overheated, okay? In fact, Fitch Ratings named Dallas-Fort Worth as one of just 3 metro areas across the country with sustainable home prices. And again, this would definitely conflict with Moody's analytics, okay? So in that same article where they were saying that, you know, that prices are sustainable and everything, the Dallas Morning News said that prices have jumped about 45% in the past 3 years, okay? So how can a 45% increase be a sustainable home price? I mean, are jobs, income in Dallas going up that fast, you know? Well, tell me what you think. I would really welcome your opinion. Do you agree with, you know, Moody's on one side or with Fitch Ratings on the other? Definitely comment below. I would love to hear your input. And, you know, while we're speaking of input, you know, would you mind hitting that like button? It really helps our channel grow. Thank you for doing that. Well, let's hit the realism button for a minute. Beyond the opinions of Wall Street, you know, and Moody's analytics, right? We need what's actually happening in Dallas right now. Right? Because if you're moving into the Dallas area, that's what you want to know, right? Not everybody's publications or, you know, opinions, right? You want to know what's going on. Well, I can tell you what's going on. We are seeing price decreases everywhere, okay? In the Dallas market today, as of this very moment, I logged online, I saw 427 price reductions just today, okay? In fact, I could log on to the MLS, pick any suburb at random, and find roughly half of the homes listed for sale with price reductions. Okay, so just for fun, right before recording this video, I did that. I logged on, I picked Grapevine at random. Okay, they had 49 homes listed for sale. Out of those 49, okay, 22 have price reductions. Okay, so how disastrous is this for Dallas homeowners, and what does this mean for home buyers? Right? How can you feel comfortable making an offer on a house? Well, remember, Dallas has seen an unnatural increase in home prices over the past 18 months. I think it's just really settling back down, right? Does it mean a massive loss of equity or a fire sale for buyers? Well, you know, I would be remiss if I didn't, you know, weigh in with a couple of factors here, right? You know, few factors that affect that, right? 30 people a day are moving into Dallas, okay? They all need a place to live. Logical. You also have a lot of new companies moving into Dallas, and we still have a housing supply shortage, okay? So Fitch's ratings, the Dallas Federal Reserve, they're all gonna bring that up, okay? They're all gonna cite that data, okay? But let's just say that Moody's is right, okay? Let's just say we get that worst case scenario and we see that 30% decline. What does that mean for you as a seller? What does that mean for you as a buyer? Okay, well, that would basically put Dallas homeowners back at what their home was worth in 2020, okay? Remember, we saw a 21% increase in home values just between 2021 and 2022, okay? And then, also over the course of the past 3 years, we've seen a 45% increase, right? So what does this mean for you as a relocating buyer moving to Dallas, okay? Moody's has given you that worst case scenario of a 30% decline. So what were Dallas home values 30% ago? Right, all we have to do is sit down together and take a look at home values in 2020. We can position offers based on that value. And you know, before you say, oh my gosh, Wendy, that is completely insane, keep in mind, home supply is way up and Dallas sellers are extremely motivated right now. Maybe you won't get that 2020 starting point, but you know what? It's a good place to start. And speaking of sitting down together, if you have a move in your future, goes without saying, we'd love to be the ones to sit down with you and talk about it, okay? We can pop on over to Jersey Mike's, best sub sandwiches in Texas, okay? We talk about how we're gonna get you into a fantastic new home here in Dallas. Okay, so with everything we've talked about here, is this a disastrous drop? When the dust settles, if Moody's worst case scenario comes true in Dallas, homes will be worth roughly what they were in 2020. All right, well listen, tell me, was this information helpful? Would you like to know more about the Dallas housing market? Would you like to know how foreclosures factor into all of this? We didn't even talk about that in this video. Well, in that case, you're definitely gonna wanna check out my most recent video on the massive, and I mean massive surge we're seeing in Dallas foreclosures. But listen, in the meantime, thank you so much for watching and joining me today. And listen, have a great day.